to our Team Beauty official podcast, episode number 2. And I'm really, really excited because we have a special guest in here, Brittany Flores. Hi, Brittany.
Hey, Vale.
Say hi to all of our podcast
Hello,
listeners.
everyone.
And we're also live on Facebook and Instagram with an interesting topic. This is a topic that that a lot of girls have asked for. So we kind of listen to you all when you say we want to find a good man. So we're talking about red flags in relationships with men. So disclaimer before we start, Brittany, we want to start by saying we are both happily in marriage and relationships, you know, both already very in love.
Yes, very in love.
And so the red flags we talk about today is obviously, you girls, for anyone maybe in a relationship where you don't feel fulfilled, or maybe you are confused as to where you're going with this person, or you're single and you're like, I'm having hard time finding someone that takes me serious, that, you know, has the same values as me. So, you know, we're going to speak for ourselves and our personal experiences, right? And but we're very happily married.
Yes.
You know, it's kind of like the reels, Britt, where like it's like this reel that you want to do, but you're married, and it's like a reel for like single girls, but you still do it because it's just trending.
You do it and you're like, but in a happily relationship.
But I'm in a happy relationship, right? So that's kind of us right now. So Britt, today we're going to break it down. So girls, grab your notebooks and pens because it's going to get really interesting. We're going to talk about 10 red flags in relationships or in men. So again, talking again from personal experience.
Exactly.
And obviously these red flags, you know, our husbands do not have these qualities because they passed the test, right? They are not a part of these red flags. So we're gonna get started, Britt. Let's dive into it. It's a good topic. So what would you say, Britt? I mean, first of all, I want to say you have been in Team Beauty for 8 years.
Yes.
And I have seen you grow inside of this community. I have seen you, you know, happy. I have seen you, you know, growing a family. And it's been amazing to watch you, your journey, you know, getting into your best self, and also seeing you in all these different stages. So thank you for being our second guest for the podcast. And let's dive into it, Britt. So I know you have a list, girl. I can see the list of little flags.
So like Vale says, right, we're talking about red flags. And so we're in a happy relationship now, but we're in a green zone, okay?
Yes.
But we have gone through, you know, relationships where we've seen, you know, red flags, or maybe we were unfulfilled, like Vala talked about. I've been in Team Beauty for 8 years. My relationship right now is fresh, 2 years, okay? And so throughout this journey, you know, I started in a relationship, had a breakup, dated for 5 years, pretty much single for 5 years. And so I feel like during that time, you know, I've been able to experience these things. So I was telling my boyfriend, I'm like, I'm about to talk about red flags, you know? He's like, ¿Qué es eso? He didn't even know what that is. I'm like, okay, you're very green zone qualified.
Green qualified
He's such
guy.
a green little qualified flag. And I'm explaining to him, he's like,
let's just say
okay.
we fished around just to learn what we don't want. Okay, so
Vale tells me, you know, I'm really excited because the first time I was on this podcast, it was sharing, you know, my personal journey with Team Beauty, you know, where I have been, where I was at. And then right now, you know, this topic was like, it's like a topic that, you know, maybe you've had with friends or other people. And then now you're on the podcast like, hey, you know, share with us. So it's like, right. And you really stop to think. And so my list had 20 red flags and counting.
And I was like, let's keep it a little shorter for the viewers.
Yes, he's like, okay, let's
They might
see.
not have so much space in their journals.
They don't have that
broke
terrible
it down
men.
to 10.
Yes. And so let's go ahead and start.
Talk about the first one, Britt.
The first
Talk
one, okay.
about the first
They're like
one.
in no order. Okay,
No specific order.
No specific order. Yeah. The first one, if they are too friendly with, it can be with your friends, with other women, like, you know, that type, like,
They're too friendly.
you don't feel comfortable, like, let's say if we're here right now and my man was here, the red flag ones.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you know what? I'd rather be here with him because I don't feel too comfortable leaving him alone, having to step out, and him staying with beautiful Vale and Jerry. You know that if you ever get that vibe, red flag.
Yeah.
Red flag.
That's a good one.
You
That's
don't
a good, when the guy is too friendly. I mean, because you can be friendly.
Yeah. Yes.
But if you're too friendly, so like if the guy is very touchy too, Britt, like,
oh, no.
you know, if they're going to say hi to your friend and they're grabbing the waist and kind of like kissing the cheek, but like very
rubbing
close
them
to
from
the
the
mouth,
bottom,
like
rubbing the leg in the
what
bottom.
is going on with that? I mean,
No.
that
I have
is-
situations I've had. Boyfriend rubbing the leg to another person under the
What?
table.
You saw that?
Yes, not my boyfriend.
Oh, okay.
I
You,
know, okay.
it's somebody else's boyfriend, and you
That's a
saw
red flag.
You saw
Yes.
that. Did you say something about it? Did the girlfriend
did.
know?
The friend.
And what
did.
happened? She obviously broke up, or
No.
she's. Oh my god.
Red
Okay, let's
flag.
not say any
When they're
names.
continuing.
Let's not say any names, but you know that is a red flag for me, just because of course we want to feel confident, we want to feel secure,
Correct.
we want to feel like yes, we can go to the bathroom. He is not gonna flirt with your friend, right? Just because you stepped out. That is definitely an important one, Britt. And you know, as women, it's not about like you know, tearing each other down, like, oh, it's her. Because maybe sometimes the girls can be too friendly too.
Right.
Right? But when it's the man, when it's your
If
man,
you're confident in your man,
the
he
one
respects
that
you.
is not respecting you to the point where you feel insecure of leaving a room because you don't know if he's going to hit on your friend. I mean, that is definitely a
Yes.
red flag.
Yes.
Type a number 1 in the Instagram chat if you've ever been in a relationship where the guy is too friendly. Too
boundaries.
friendly with like a triple O. Too friendly.
I like that.
That's a good one,
That's a good
Britt.
one.
Okay. What other one
His
do we
circle
have?
of influence.
Okay.
Okay. Or any bad habits. So like circle of influence. For example, there is this guy. All of his friends, he was always telling me how, you know, oh my God, and he cheated with his wife, and then he has this baby on the way, and he's with this girl, and I stayed thinking, like, first, like, the chisme is good, right? You're like, oh my God, and this happened, and did she find out, la, 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 and then you're like, wait a minute, hold up. Like, 5 of his friends are cheating. They're all going out behind the girl's back. They all have a second phone. You're like, wait a
Oh,
minute. You know, his circle
snap.
of influence is, you know, not good, right?
Yeah.
So then you put yourself into that environment where you're like, you know what? You start to think, you know, is that going to lead me to a healthy relationship, or is that going the same route?
And again, a lot of the times, you know, these guys don't know any better, and that's who they're surrounding themselves
Yes.
with. And maybe they found you, and you're kind of like that person that I don't want to say saves them, because I don't want to say you save them, but they're maybe trying to get out of that, and
Right.
I could understand that. But when you as a woman, right, you start getting to know their friends, and you start seeing that, it's definitely a red flag for me. But it's not like leave
the bad
him.
habit, yeah.
But if you're seeing that this is a circle of influence that he likes to be around, and it's because it gets to affect,
If it affects them, yeah.
yeah, because you know, I had a friend that I was like, okay, the circle of influence is getting to you, right? Okay. And then she was like, no, but we're strong. Like, we're strong in our relationship. It's not going to affect us. And then like 2 months later, she's like, okay, we stopped talking to those people because it was affecting us already, right? Because they were like toxic to each other. So circle of influence, believe it or not, is a big part of who you start to become, right? Who you
Yes.
start to associate yourself with is eventually who you're gonna end up becoming.
Or if
so
it
if
brings
you
out
don't
bad
want
habits
your
in you, yeah.
your future husband to be like those friends, Britt, I mean, I think that is definitely a red flag that you gotta be like, okay, is it gonna change, or is this gonna be your friends forever? Because if it
Right.
is, then I'm kind of out. Or
Right.
what would you say about?
Or even like
about
if
that?
if it brings out bad habits with them, like drugs or smoking. I know we talked about this, you know, the smoking topic.
Yeah. So that hits home for me, girl, because I don't know about you guys, but as a woman, you kind of want to have a list of the things, like you have to. For me, Britt, when I was single and like, okay, who am I gonna marry? I would think, who is gonna be the father of my children?
Right.
It has to be someone
think that serious
doesn't
when you're
have
dating.
an addiction or a vice. Personally, right? Speaking for me, it was like, I don't want the father of my children to smoke because I don't want my babies to be smoking the polluted air, okay? I mean, the pollution is still out there, but, cigarettes, okay? So for me, that was a big one, Britt. That was a big one. And, I did have a boyfriend that smoked. I'm not going to say any names, but, it was actually two. It was actually two. And I'm not going to be mean and be like, I'm not going to date you if you smoke. So I gave them a chance, right? And one of them was like, okay, I'm going to stop smoking for you. I was like, great. Like,
compromise.
I am changing this man. Yo soy la Madre Teresa, I'm making this world a better place.
Or he's hearing you out at least, which was
He's
it's
hearing
important.
me out, right? So, okay, he said he was going to stop smoking. Awesome. So I would get to his car, Britt, and when I would kiss him to say hi, he would smell like spearmint gum. Como que,
all the mints. You had all the mints.
You were trying to... Red flag, because you're telling me you stop smoking, yet every time I want to kiss you, you chewed like 20 different gums, right? And like you wash your teeth like twice or 3 times so that I don't smell the tobacco or I don't feel it. It's a strong smell. Right? So, okay, I let it slide, guys. I let it slide. But then it came to a point, Britt, that his phone was like not down, it was up, right? And he was ordering something to go. And I see this text message, and it's this girl, okay, that I know, okay? And she's like, hey, you have a stogie? Do you know what that means?
No.
So that's like a Spanish slang term for a cigarette.
Oh.
And I'm like, the girl is looking for you to get a cigarette. Okay, that means you're smoking with this girl.
So that affected their relationship.
And I'm not going to lie. So, I reacted to that. I reacted to that. And then I realized, like, okay, I'm not chill, right? It's not me. He's obviously lying to me. And I had to come to a conclusion, Britt, where I was like, am I going to continue with someone that's lying to me?
Right, lying.
Right? Because his bad habits were something that I accepted at first, but I thought he was going to change, but he didn't. So am I going to continue in this relationship? So did you ever go through something like that?
Red flag. No.
In a relationship. Okay,
no,
good.
Sorry.
Good. I'm teaching you today, Britt.
Thank you.
So give me we're in the number 3, by the way. So what was number 1?
Being too friendly.
Number 2?
Circle of influence and bad habits.
Okay. So now we're going to talk about red flag number 3. Britt.
Never going on an actual date.
Okay. Explain this one to me.
Yes.
Dissect it a little bit.
Okay.
What is a date? What is a date?
Well, for example, what I mean here is like a lot of the times, or sometimes when you meet someone, it's either online, when you're already out, or through a circle of influence, right? And so you're already in a space where you're around a lot of people, and maybe that just continues. Or maybe you just keep messaging with the person and you never meet the person. You never go on a date, right? Or let's say I go out with the girls, he goes out with the guys, we meet up. Or I go out girls' night and he respects my space. He lets me have my girl time. But afterwards, he's like, I want to see you, right? Yeah, you're already feeling good.
Okay.
Or him as well, right? Him going out, you respect his space, that he gets to have his boy time. But then always, 2 or 3 in the morning, that he wants to come over, that he wants to see you. And you guys have never had an actual, okay, hey, I want you to get dressed. I'm going to pick you up. I'm going to pay for dinner or something,
Britt.
right?
I feel like dating is so important. And like, I still remember like my first date, like with my husband, it makes you feel as a woman, like that makes you feel beautiful. Like you dress up for him, right? Like he picks you up. He opens the door, even if it's the first date and they do that on the first date and then they never do that. I'm not saying any names here, but it's a special moment. That first date,
very important,
right? That first date, I think it sets the tone for like whatever it's gonna be.
Yeah, I went through that for 2 years, never like actual dates.
Oh my God, Britt, 2 years
to hanging out,
of like casual,
friends, very casual. And then I meet my partner now. 2 dates in the same day, breakfast, and we went for dinner now. So and I feel like that's why we're able to share these things, because we know what it feels like now to feel good, to feel heard, to feel seen. So we're able to know that those were red flags for us.
Especially now, Britt, I feel like this is a different generation, because like my years. Like I was born in the 1993. Okay, the night. I'm sorry, but you know the 2000s are different. The millennials are different. Or am I a millennial? I'm a millennial, but I'm the oldie millennial. Yeah. I'm a little weird millennial. But nowadays, I feel like everything's so casual.
Very casual.
And don't forget to
your values, what you want in a relationship.
As a woman, I feel like you have to know what kind of man do you want and what kind of woman do you have to be to get the man that you want.
Correct.
Right?
Important.
So have a set of values in your notebook and then abide by them. And you know, so being too casual, Britt.
Too casual.
Being too casual, never actually taking your girl on a date, never making it official. Never making it official. Nowadays, they don't ask them to be their girlfriends. Or they just suggest, is that the word?
Yeah, they just assume.
They assume. They just assume because you went to 3 dates with him. Ya son novios. ¿Cómo?
Well, with that person, he was like, so you don't talk to anybody else, right? And I'm like, I do.
Excuse me, sir, but I'm still in the market.
He was pissed, like livid. I won't forget it. Like, no, it was hours in the vehicle. You know those type one? Oh my God. And I'm like, what are you talking about? You never asked me to be serious. We haven't gone on a date. Official. No, of course I talk to other people.
It's kind of like Instagram. You know, when you're official, you have a little, ¿cómo se llama esa?
Check mark.
How is it called though?
You're verified.
You're verified. O sea, let's verify this relationship. Have you asked me?
And don't be dumb. Like, don't think that you're the only one he's talking to.
Oh,
you know,
my God.
You guys have like not gotten that serious yet, okay? No matter how many times he calls you at the end of the night. There's plenty other times throughout the day.
Yes.
What else?
Okay, so that was number 3. So number 4.
Okay. Unemployed.
Oh.
Or cannot keep a job.
That's a big one. That's
red
a big
flag.
one.
I mean, do I even have to go into this?
Well,
we were talking about this right now, and you know, we were saying, you know, we acknowledge that maybe sometimes, you know, times change, right? Your partner loses their job, they're switching jobs.
Maybe he wants
that
to
is
be
understandable.
A stay-at-home dad.
But if you look at their past, if you look at their past, and it's a person who has never been able to keep a job, always maybe getting fired, or maybe he can't even stand the job. He's just like, he cannot stand authority, so always switching jobs. That is already a red flag for me in where my future is going with this partner. He doesn't
have a stable job or career.
Unemployed,
nothing going for
can't
him.
keep a job.
Like, is that going to be the future father of your children? I feel like as a man,
of the kids.
I mean, that's for me, because that's like for me when I thought of like the man of my dreams or the man I'm going to marry, because I wanted kids.
House.
So if you want kids, you have to think that's going to be the father of your children. Do you agree with that? Like, do you agree with their actions? Because that's who's going to raise your children if you want children, right?
And I think, Vale,
you don't have to have children.
Sometimes when you're in the dating world, us women forget the end goal. And we're like, oh, like he's just cute. It's so much fun. La, la, la. And then you're like, wait a minute. So you start to think, you know, wait, I'm looking for marriage. If you are, right? I want somebody serious that I get to be with in public. And then it's already too far in. Like, you skipped all the red flags, and now you're invested in a relationship that's is not there. Yeah. That is not going where you want it to be. And I think that's where we mess up most. Yeah. That we get caught up in the emotion, and it's because I've never felt this way about the guy.
Kind of learning to say and you make
exceptions for all of them.
Learning to say no, Britt. I feel like I'm gonna admit it. I ever since I was in 5th grade, Ricky, if you're out there.
This one's for
and
you.
My husband knows about Ricky. 5th grade, right? So, I mean, I've always been like a lover of love, right? So, like, for me, it was like, oh my God, you know, we're kind of fishing. But then it's like, okay, I'm in all of these relationships have only gotten me deep into a hole. And now I'm looking for the person I'm going to marry. Like, you reach a certain age. Like, I was 27 when I met my husband. And I was like, dude, I'm not playing around. No. I don't want no free steak just because. Are you thinking about marriage, kids soon? Because that's kind of... So I remember, you know, my husband asked me out like 3 different times, right? And I remember he was like, let's go have dinner. And you know what I responded, Brittany?
What?
I said, I have goals. Like, I need to get to president's team.
Yes.
And I cannot waste any time. Like, I'm
Right.
sorry, but I don't have time to go to dinner with you. And he told me, well, I'm an RN. I work 12-hour shifts. I don't have time either, girl, but we got to eat. And I was like, you have a point. And you're cute.
And I'm hungry.
And I'm hungry right now. So, se dio, ¿verdad?
Yeah.
Se dio. But I kind of set the tone of I'm not playing around.
So he already knew what was up.
As to where other guys would be like, oh, you're too busy. Oh, sorry. Okay.
That's
Up
fine.
next.
Or they get mad.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God, you prefer your job over,
So
your
you're
life
that
doesn't
kind of
revolve
girl.
around your job.
And
you need to get out of your
I had already
bubble.
said no to him 3 times.
Okay.
This was the 3rd time he invited me out, and I
Okay.
had already talked about that.
Okay.
So for me, I think that's really important, like knowing who you're gonna date and what is like what you said, what is the purpose of that relationship? Is it gonna take me somewhere, or are we just in the fields?
Correct.
So
Next one.
What else do you have in your list, Britt? Is that number 5?
Yes, we're going into number 6.
Number 6, okay.
I don't know, number 5.
Number
History of previous relationships. So here is like, if you or him talking bad about exes, how they talk about the past relationship. I know that there's some people that want to know everything about their past.
No,
okay,
I don't know.
and I think it's important, but I don't think it's so important as to who, as to this, as to that. Just why. I always like to ask, why did the last relationship fail? What happened, right? Did you cheat? Did she cheat? Did something not meet to your standards, right? Because you have to know, what this person is like. You're going to meet them and they're going to look gorgeous because you're attracted to them. But there's, people have their past. They have their history. And so history of the previous relationship, important to know. Sometimes we're afraid to ask that. I was talking to a friend of mine and I'm like, oh, he was
it's a little awkward.
And I asked her, well, why did his last relationship end, right? And I have no idea, right? And sometimes that affects your relationship because maybe the person doesn't want to take the next step because of my past. Or maybe, I'm just a no to this because of my past, but you don't even know. So I think the history of the previous relationship, very important to know, and a red flag if talking bad.
If they're talking too much smack, because una cosa es tell you what happened, and then when you're like putting too much crema en los tacos, yeah. I don't need to know all the bad things about your ex.
Or they're always talking about it. They're still invested in the relationship.
Bad about the woman. Like, they don't respect women. So
they're the
he's gonna
victim
be talking
mindset.
about you like that,
No.
girl, when you break up. So do you want that or no?
No.
Okay, that was number 5.
Number 5,
Okay.
communication. This one kind of goes with the other ones, not knowing where your relationship is going. And we kind of touched a little bit on this. Like Vale said, like, you need to ask me to be your girlfriend, right? This one was huge for me.
Yes.
I dated, my now boyfriend for about 6 months. And all the whole time, he would always be like, eres mi mujer. You're my wife. What do you mean? I was like, I'm not your wife. Like, in a way, like, it was like a compliment, but I'm like,
but you
no,
were like, hold on.
Oh, we're not married, we're not even boyfriend and girlfriend. So he had never asked me to be his girlfriend. And like I said, since I went 2 years of, on the surface, in the air, and not knowing, for me, that was something, this time around, I don't want that, right?
Yeah.
I want to know where we're going, that we're both on the same page.
Yeah.
And
Have no time to waste.
Exactly.
Clear.
So he made it very clear.
Nice.
He asked me to be his girlfriend. People thought we were getting married, but
And there's
it wasn't a
something-
proposal,
and
you guys.
there's something sexy.
I made him nervous.
There's something sexy about a man that knows where he's headed.
Correct.
That knows what woman he wants. Like, for example,
Yes.
also with me, when I started dating Memo, he was like, I already have the lot for a house. And I was like, okay, he's ready. Right? Like, he knows where he's going. He's not
Correct.
just like, oh, we'll see where love is going to take us.
No.
He has to be prepared and ready for a woman like you. So if you're
need
in
to
that
know.
that stage, don't be afraid to speak up.
Yeah, have that communication. Ask, is this something? I know that nowadays, even I have a friend of mine, and she'll just ask them, they'll go on a date, and if it's a casual, no. This casual or serious?
Yeah.
And some will say casual. Okay, well, you know, it was nice knowing you. That's not what I want right now. And maybe you want serious or maybe you want casual. And the other person wants serious. So you need to know what you want and you need to have that communication with that person.
So are you tired of kissing frogs or do you want to keep kissing frogs? I mean, because sometimes we're tired. Sometimes we kind of like kissing frogs.
No,
so
don't
where,
be
I mean, well, I'm
kissing.
just saying. So you have to, like, as a woman, are you kissing frogs is the question. Do you want to keep kissing frogs or are you ready for your prince? You have to know.
Right, yes.
You have to speak up.
Very good,
Know
Vale.
what you're doing here.
Oh.
A ver.
Degrades you.
Oh, no. Not
Calls
acceptable.
you ugly names.
Not acceptable.
No.
No.
Like, I can't even imagine.
Like if they're calling you stupid, ugly, you this, you that, they're not respecting you, right?
No.
That's what we mean by degrading
Yes,
you, right?
degrading you.
Even if you're mad, even if you're upset, because when we're upset, we say really stupid things sometimes. I kind of prefer to just, I'm like, give me some space, because sometimes we say hurtful things, but when you love that person, you're gonna.
Yeah.
You're going to respect them, right?
And you have to set the boundaries in the beginning. I remember with one of my boyfriends, we could not use the word fuck at all. So like if we never said it, like, and I would hear my friends, you know, and it just sounded like such a bad word because we had made that rule in our relationship.
Like you respected each other to not curse at each other.
Never did we say a bad word ever, you know. But then I had other relationships where that rule was never applied and we would say ugly words to each other, you know. Like you're so stupid or whatever, you know. And so I feel like that's important in your relationship if it's getting started or if you're already going through that red flag.
And again, Brittany, I mean, sometimes it's not just the man. Sometimes as women, you know, we also sin.
We're acting a little red flaggish.
So if you don't want the person to call you names or to disrespect you, you don't disrespect the man either, right? No. You're not going to be telling him you this, that, and then, because then that's going to become a toxic relationship. Like, girl, you started. Yeah. You were saying this, like,
exactly.
Si quieres que te respete, tú también tienes que
exactly.
respetar.
You're going to get what you give.
Yes. Good one, Britt. What number are we?
Are
you guys writing this
number
down?
7.
Number 7. Okay.
Gaslighting.
Explain to me what that means.
Gaslighting is like whenever you doubt yourself, like you have,
or like he kind of manipulates you to think something.
To doubt whatever you're thinking. You know, you start to, you know what, whatever your feelings are, like they're not valid, they're never heard. It's always switching around. For example, you guys, I think this was gaslighting experience. I don't know, but I lived with one of my boyfriends, right? And to them, even when I didn't have a job or wasn't my own boss babe and all this, I was always independent, right?
Okay.
So I remember we lived together and the trash is like hasta acá. And it's like, I remember at that point, I'm like, bro, we lived in an apartment. I was in the top one, okay? So there I am having to go through the trash, clean, do everything, pick up his socks that were everywhere always. And I remember having the conversation about the trash because I was like, you can at least take out the trash. I'm going to take it out and walk. You know when you're in an apartment, you have to throw the trash freaking far? Okay. He was like, I don't want to step on your toes. Like, you're independent. Like, next time, like, just tell me when to be a man. That way that we don't come across this again. So I don't know if that's gaslighting, but I was like, started to think, you know what? I am independent. I do, always have everything in order. And yeah, but eventually that relationship is no longer lasting.
He learned he got to take out the trash just like everybody else.
But we are not here to be their moms, okay?
Yes,
we are
that's
not
a
their
good
moms.
One.
So
awesome.
Yeah, gaslighting or your feelings are not valid. Anything that you say, they manipulate it around.
To doubt yourself.
Yes.
That was...
No, bro.
Wow.
Take out the trash.
Like, come on, dude.
I was like 19, okay? And he was like 30.
Ay, estabas chiquita. Oh, but he was
grown.
Oh, no. Mama's boy. Oh, is that another one?
Mama's boy, vale. We actually have that one
next.
Oh, my God.
We, like, manifested it.
Mama's boy.
So that's another red flag.
He wasn't a mama's boy. I don't know what happened there.
Okay. So is that number 9?
That's the last one.
Oh, that's the last one. Mama's boy.
Let's wait for Mama's boy.
Okay.
We're going to go into number 9.
Okay, let's go into number 9 and then we get to number 10, which is Mama's boy. But number 9 is...
If you go on a date and you aren't sure he will pay the tab.
Britt, I have to admit, I went on a date with this guy and we went to the movies and then he paid for his ticket. And then he's like, okay, now you pay for yours. And we were going to go watch Beauty and the Beast. You know who you are.
Oh,
and I remember
dude,
I had to pay. I paid for it because I wanted to watch Beauty and the Beast, okay?
And then the movie that you went to watch.
I paid for it, but all the movie, I was just thinking to myself, we aren't going nowhere, dude. Wow. I got out of there and I was like, bye, dude. See you later. And I just never freaking answered my phone.
And you went to drop him off.
Oh, no. Oh, that was so annoying. I felt so like,
oh, my God.
What the heck? So, yeah, that's a good one.
Well, she actually went on.
So,
mom is saying gaslighting is when they disappear and then come around again.
That one too. Yes.
Yeah.
They leave. They ghost you.
Or they're like, oh, I had to go out of town because my sister, whatever.
Or
and
this was going on in my life, and that's why I didn't tell you. And then they make you feel bad about it, like
you're the crazy
going
one.
Through stuff, and I'm over here overthinking or expecting something. When no, he could have communicated that, right?
Yeah.
That is gaslighting, and I think that one happens a lot.
Yeah.
Also, if you go on a date and I'm sure he will pay the tab, there have been times I'm like, oh my God, like, am I gonna end up paying for him?
Oh my God. Because you just don't know.
Or they'll even tell me, dude, back to the independence. I don't know what they have.
They'll
with
be like,
picking on me
ándale,
with
boss babe,
that."
págale.
Like, this one was like, you're independent, boss babe. I want you to pick me up. I want to sit in the passenger seat.
No.
And I want steak and I want no sé qué top class.
Do
I'm
not-
like, bro,
no.
I haven't even seen that place.
No, hold
There's
on.
a menu online.
Hold on,
No,
Britt.
girl.
That happened to you?
I didn't pick him up. He's stupid. No. It was a whole discussion.
That
like,
is
what do you mean?
horrible. Wow. He was serious.
He was dead serious.
Oh my God.
He was confusing the boss babe, and I feel like he was also picking at it, you know? And I'm like, no, honey, boo boo, I can be boss babe.
Ser boss babe. Like, you can be a boss babe and you can be in your feminine, right?
Exactly.
But a man has to be in his masculinity. So we are attracted to them, because if not,
and if it
as
doesn't
a boss
come
babe,
out of
like,
them,
sorry, but if you're acting like a girl, bye.
exactly. And if it doesn't come out, their masculine
I'll
side
just
with
date
you,
my best friend. You know, I mean, I'll just take my girlfriend out.
Correct.
And we just split the tab.
right? But I feel like if they're not, if the masculine energy is not coming out of them, they're not for you.
they're
You're
not ready
always
for you.
gonna be,
I know.
you know, overpowering them, and you need a man like the man I found. But not that one, to
He's
put you
taken.
into your feminine place. It's such a nice place to be.
Very important.
But you're not gonna find it if you feel like you're gonna go on a date and you're gonna pay your own ticket.
No.
Or drive them.
No.
Picking, I was gonna pick him up. I can't even. Never do.
Cada quien, Britt.
Never.
Let's talk about
The last
number
one.
10, the last red flag. Take note, girls. Give it to me, Britt. Oh, we already said.
Mama's boy.
There's a disclaimer. There's nothing wrong with loving your mothers, because I have a son and
They love it.
I'm glad if he loves me, but you got to know when, like, okay, your mom is your mom, your girlfriend, future wife is your girlfriend, future wife. So for me, it's important that you know how to have a place for both, right?
Yes.
So have a place for your mom, and she's also my girlfriend, so we respect her.
Yeah, mama's boy.
Tell me about the little incident you were telling me about earlier, because I feel like, a ver,
I hope
so that nobody commits this.
For example,
so that nobody makes this mistake.
For example, so mama's boy that he had to buy us the same gift, right? Like,
wait, was this Christmas or what was it?
Christmas. It was a purse.
So for Christmas, Brittany's ex, because he was in the red flag zone. Mama's boy, he bought the same purse to his mom and to Britt, so his mom won't feel bad. Ay, ay, ay. Wow.
And then it would have been fine if the mom at least liked you.
How did that make you feel?
I think because you know when you feel like the mom doesn't really like you so much, right? So I think that's why they like you. Or like if you feel like they'll make you a face de atrás.
So that was a little backstory, guys. I was sharing with Britt that one of my ex-boyfriends, like his mom, whatever, I don't care. I don't think he's listening to this podcast.
I hope mine isn't
His
either.
mom made this face to me, so the podcast listeners can't see my face right now. But I looked down. They
see
can
it.
on YouTube or on YouTube. So I look down for something and I see, and then I turn and I look up at his mom because I kind of felt
something.
a presence. She was making this face to me. Like that. Like an ugly face. And then, so he looked at my boyfriend like, look, laugh. I'm making her a face. But I caught them in action. I got up, I stood up, and I just left the room. I felt so disrespected, Britt.
Right. Well, you see, I didn't have them do that, but I felt that. So
Yeah.
then when the gifts, two gifts exactly the same,
Yeah.
you're over here, Christmas.
You have to feel
You get excited when
respected.
you get a gift, right? Like they got you a gift and you have your gift and maybe you post it or you show it and then you realize, right, that it's the exact same gift that they got for Christmas, right?
That's sweet of the guy. He wanted to give you guys the same person, but
Yeah.
that's not gonna work.
Yeah.
That's not gonna work. We gotta think a little more, guys. Think a little more. Be a little more creative there.
Yes.
'Cause
Try a
that
little
was-
harder.
Try a little harder. 'Cause that he ended up in the ex-boyfriend list, so you don't want to be there. You want to be in the hubby
Mama's
list, right?
boy.
So,
¿Qué más?
Britt, oh my God, that was really awesome. Thank you for sharing your long list of red flags. She had like 20 or 30, guys. We
Yes,
broke it
you
down to
guys.
10. I was like, hold up, Britt. We don't have enough time to share all of those. But thank you so much for being on, Britt. And I just want to share, with the listeners and the viewers, as women, this is a very empowering episode because it allows us to be aware of what we need to have in place, right? So 3 things that you want to tell the girls that are listening to this about this red flag list, right? So after they heard this, what
Definitely
some action for them.
Speak up if you have experienced any of these red flags or you're currently experiencing them. Don't be afraid to speak up, right? I think that's one of the most things that's why we stay in that for so long. Speak up, have the communication. They don't know.
Communication is key.
We need to make things heard, right? Also,
Don't be afraid.
don't be afraid, right? I feel that one's so important. Sometimes we are afraid of, they're going to feel bad, right? And then you stay in that cycle because you're afraid of how the other person feels. And you brush off how you've been feeling and you continue there for so long.
Yeah.
So it's like a cycle that doesn't end. And at the end, you're not happy. The red flags continue. The too friendly with other people. The no job. The mama's boy, right? Not giving you your place. Those things continue because you're afraid to speak up. And again, they put themselves into the victim mindset. And now you're like, you know what? I don't have the heart to do that.
Yeah.
When, time passes by really fast, you guys. Last thing is, what do we write, Vale?
Put yourself first.
Put yourself first, right? Put yourself first. Know what you want. And whether sometimes we forget what we want, but I know that after you hear this, you're going to be like, I know what I want, right? And so revisit those things that you want. Vale said, have a notebook. Go back to your extreme 2030 list of things that you want for your future. Because sometimes we do forget. And especially when we get caught up in a place that's maybe not so positive. So go back to that list. Speak up. And don't be afraid.
Yes.
We encourage you guys to accept what's for you out there, and that way you can step into that green flag zone.
Definitely,
with us.
Britt. I feel like being confident and build up our self-confidence is important so that we understand and know how to be aware of those things that we don't want in our lives. So I'm very excited about next week because next week, Britt, we have Jessica Gutierrez coming into the studio and she's going to be talking about how to build self-confidence. And as women, we definitely need to be in our masculinity, in our feminine zone, but also very confident knowing what we want and who we want to become. So
Correct.
next week we have Jessica Gutierrez, How to Build Self-Confidence. Don't miss out. October 16, right here, 12:30 p.m. Central Time every Monday. We're doing it live, and the podcast generates after that. And I just want to remind all the viewers today that this is October, the month of breast cancer awareness. And, you know, Team Beauty has been doing this for years. We've teamed up with Renaissance, and we are accepting donations, okay, for them. We are giving this beautiful pink shirt. It says Team Beauty.
So
Team Beauty.
cute.
And then on the back, Britt, on the back, it has the nutrition facts. Sexy, boss babe, brave, smart, confident, committed. She is enough. So when you do bring your donation, you do receive this shirt as well. So get with your coach for that. And coming in November, Britt, what do we have coming in November, Britt?
Our pink party, hot pink gala.
Girl, you know, last night I was up just looking at gala fuchsia dresses.
Yes.
So guys, get your dresses ready because we're going to party. We're going to have empowerment. We are going to be giving away a Peloton that night. So if you don't have your pink party ticket, make sure you contact your coach and get that before we sell out, because we will sell out. Okay, so thank you so much, Brittany, for being with us for this episode number 2. It was an honor to have you, and we will see you guys next time.
Thank you.